Hey everyone, so this is Dan Shore here answering a question for the MarTech Wiz website. This is going to be embedded in their post, so you're probably on that post right now looking at it. I want to answer these questions in a video because it's the best way I think I can communicate these answers and show them, and it's definitely the fastest way for me versus typing them all out. So let's get right into it. How to use SEMrush in your SEO workflow. I love SEMrush, first of all. I've many times called it my desert island SEO tool, meaning that if I had one tool, of course, to take to a desert island with me, it would be SEMrush. It's really the one tool I can't live without. With that said, the most common place I'm working this into my workflow is coming up with content ideas for clients. Now, let's say I was working for Whole Foods. I'm not working for Whole Foods, but Whole Foods, if you're out there, call me. I would happily work for you. I would use SEMrush to maybe do something like find a competitor like Trader Joe's. And I would maybe look at the organic terms that are non-branded that Trader Joe's is ranking for. So I would go to my organic research report here. And what I might do is run the advanced filter here. I would exclude anything with, let's try just Trader. And I would basically be looking for informational words or non-branded words that Trader Joe's ranks for, but maybe Whole Foods does not, like black bean pasta or cookie butter ice cream. As you can see on Whole Foods here, I have their recipes pulled up. So using a competitor's keywords might be a great way to find recipe ideas that Whole Foods could write about. So that'd be my answer to number one, is it fits into my workflow most often in sort of a content strategy process. Number two, what are your favorite parts of SEMrush and why? So my favorite tool in SEMrush is this pages report here. This is going to show me the content that Trader Joe's gets the most organic traffic for. And so this is super useful in the sense of now instead of just looking at things like keywords, I could look at like vegan diet lists, or I can find topics or pieces of content, gluten-free, things like that, that Trader Joe's ranks for, and I can dive into the keywords. And then what I could do is I could see if my client or Whole Foods or whoever, if they have a piece of content to actually cover that topic. So obviously there's a lot of branded keywords in here, but gluten-free range, right? So that might be something that Whole Foods doesn't have a page to account for on their site. Gluten-free jelly brands. So there's just tons and tons and tons of opportunity that you can find by going to the pages report and looking for things that that a competitor might have traffic for, but maybe you don't. Now, let's say I'm looking for topics to write about. So beyond direct competitors, you could think of something like Wellness Mama is a site that I'm aware of that talks about diet and food and recipes, and it's geared towards a very similar demographic, as it says in here, mothers, parents. So what I might look for is a site that publishes content that spirulina benefits or chia seeds pudding recipe or something that aligns with a topic that Whole Foods could write about, but maybe they haven't. And since Whole Foods probably has a much higher domain authority than Wellness Mama, Whole Foods could probably publish a piece of content and rank a little bit more easily. So now I'm just looking for topic ideas based upon other websites that might be publishing similar topics. One thing I love to do with the pages report is, of course, filter by URL. So let's say I am specifically looking for something around the tea topic. Now I can run a filter, and it takes a second, but it will show me all the tea articles that this site is ranking for. So now I can dive in really deep. You could go to, bigger sites that might happen to write about health or recipes sometimes. And you could find, anytime the Huffington Post has written about tea for whatever reason, and you could find something that, in often cases in these big publishers, a lot of their content is old or it's outdated or it's just not super high quality. And a lot of times Huffington Post might rank just on its domain authority alone. And so oftentimes you can find something. Now, as you can see this wheel spinning here, this brings me to answer my third question. Where do you think SEMrush could be most improved? This is okay, so this one actually worked. Oftentimes when I'm using SEMrush on a giant website and I'm trying to filter, oftentimes that filter will just spin and spin and spin and not work. And this is an intermittent problem that I've seen with SEMrush. I've sent it to them. It's a little bit more of a technical issue, really, than a product suggestion. But SEMrush has so much data. There's so much information you can go through. I would love it to be a little bit more reliable when running those filters. Now, number 4, what are some hidden gems in SEMrush most don't know about? So I don't know what other people don't know about it for sure, but what I can say is something I've been very interested in that I'm looking at a lot more on a day-to-day basis is this ranks report here, SEMrush ranks. And so what this is it's a ranking of all the most popular websites on the web that get the highest amount of search traffic, and that or ads traffic here. I think you can export it, and that way you could sort it from there. But what I've been doing is, let's say I have a client that's in the health space or the food space. One way to look at this, if you're trying to get a client, a lot of traffic, and a ton of exposure, you might as well try to go to sites that have a lot of search traffic and rank very highly in the grand scheme of like the entire world of the web. So I glanced at food.com this month. Was the 98th most trafficked website from organic search. So if I have a client in the food space or in the health space, I'm going to use this rankings report here to start to find the most highest and most popular websites for that specific topic, because what I'm really trying to do with SEMrush is find the huge, gigantic sites that have tons and tons of traffic. And then what I can do is once I find those in the topic here, now I'm using data instead of just randomly thinking, oh, I want my client on the Food Network website. Well, now I know food.com has a huge outsized amount of traffic, and this is a strategic way to maybe look for sites to guest publish on or to advertise with or have a partnership with. So it's like really looking at how do I go big with what I'm doing. And obviously not every client or every scenario is going to allow you to, do something to collaborate with a food.com. But that's where what I would do is take this rankings list and, maybe dive into page 10 and start looking at page 10. Maybe the top, 1,000 ranked websites are out of your league, but that's where you can jump down to, okay, what's beyond that? What's in the top 1,000 to 5,000 websites on the web that I can just scan through and look for a possible, collaboration opportunity, guest posting opportunity, advertising opportunity. So eatingwell.com, not quite as high in the chain as food or the Food Network. Maybe this is an easier target. And if they're not an easy target, you can click on them and then simply just get their get their competitors. Now, when you go to their competitors, you're going to see the competitors ranked by the amount of traffic they get, right? So Food Network, as I mentioned, is way up here. All Recipes is way up here. But now we can see Eating Well is a little bit smaller of a fish, no pun intended. So if Eating Well's too big with 908,000 searches a month, why not look at their top competitors by keywords and just work down the scale until you get to a level of somebody that you're able to easily make a connection with and make a contact with. Bonappetit.com, a little bit smaller amount of traffic. Realsimple.com. This is great because sometimes when you're just sitting there, it's hard to think of websites in a particular niche or industry, yet it's all right here for you in SEMrush. And I haven't seen many people talking about that ranks report. So that's a report I really love. To find those kind of opportunities of high trafficked websites. And like I said, just dive down further if those initial sites, are too big for you. So that's how I'd answer those 4 questions. Steven from MarTech, thank you so much for inviting me to this roundup. I hope the video format was useful on your site. And for the people reading this article here, if you have any questions, I'm Dan. I'm on Twitter at Dan_Shure. I'll show it to you right here. Dan_Shure on Twitter. You can also find me at EvolvingSEO.com. That's our company. That's our website. And that's where we've got the services and the podcast that we do listed and everything. So Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of this post. Stop.